I thought it might be fun to do a little Barbie trivia, and then we can learn more about Barbie before going into this movie, because as I was reading, so I spent a lot of today reading the People edition of Barbie, the Barbie edition of People, that's what I meant to say. And Greta Gerwig was talking about how she recognizes that there is a big community surrounding Barbie, especially in the adult toy collecting world. And so there are a lot of like little Easter eggs hidden throughout the movie for people who know Barbie and would know to catch those things. And so I thought it could be fun to know a little bit more about Barbie as a whole before going into the movie. So I collected some trivia questions from a couple different sources online, facts that I read in this edition of People, and we're going to ask Kevin if he can see if he knows any of the answers, and then you can play along at the same time because I'm going to put it all down on the screen so you can test your Barbie knowledge, and then at the end you can let me know how you did and if there's anything that surprised you. Alright, are you ready?
I hope so.
Also, you have to notice our Barbie outfits today. So I'm wearing this Yeehaw Barbie sweatshirt that I got at PacSun, and Kevin, he's wearing his Pink Pleasing hoodie because what's more Ken than supporting Harry Styles?
Fair.
Alright. First question. What year was Barbie introduced? These are multiple choice, so I'll give you some options. A, 1955, B, 1957, C, 1959, or D, 1961.
There's no way it's as late as 61.
55, 57, 59.
We'll go 59.
It was 1959. She was introduced at the American Toy Fair in New York City. Do you know what Barbie's birth date is? It was the day that she was introduced. This is not a multiple choice question.
I'd assume the World Fair would be, you said the World Fair?
The American Toy Fair.
Oh, then I have no idea. I'd assume the summer, maybe? We'll say like July something.
It was March 9th, 1959. So Barbie is technically a Pisces. Do you know how long after Barbie was introduced that Ken came along?
5 years?
It was 1961. Oh,
wow.
So.
2 years.
Yep. All right. What is the value of a 1959 Barbie in mint condition today? $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, or $10,000?
I'd go $10,000.
It is $10,000.
Yeah.
Do you know how much it was sold for originally in 1959?
12 cents.
$3.
Dang, okay. I underestimated it.
What is Barbie's full name? Barbara Ann Roberts, Barbara Ann Robertson, or Barbara Millicent Roberts?
Barbara Ann Roberts, I think.
Barbara Millicent Roberts,
really?
Actually.
Wow.
Barbie's middle name is Millicent, and that is a little bit rough. Huh. Who was Barbie named after? Barbara Stanwyck, Barbara Handler, or Barbara Babcock?
Barbara Handler.
Handler is correct.
Yeah.
So Ruth Handler was the creator of Barbie, and she actually named Barbie after her daughter. But I read in this People magazine, let me see if I can find it. Okay, here's the quote, talking about the actual Barbara. So not everyone, it seemed, loved Barbie. That included Barbara, who was 17 when her namesake was launched. When fans learned who she was, quote, they would come up to me and say, "So you're the Barbie doll," and I did not like it. "It was very strange to have a doll named after you," Barbara Handler Siegel told People in 1989 for Barbie's 30th anniversary. She then later says, "Much of me is very proud that my folks invented the doll. I just wish I wasn't attached to it." Which is honestly fair, but later you can see here in this picture, this is actual Barbara holding a Barbie doll, putting her hands and the Barbie hands into the cement outside of the Egyptian Theater in LA. So obviously she got a little bit of goodness from it. She probably learned to love it. And then their son's name was Ken, so they named Barbie and Ken after their son and daughter. And the real Ken was very much a activist, liked to read and research about things, and in here it talks about how he was the kind of kid who played piano and went to movies with subtitles. And he says, I owe the house I live in to Barbie, but felt back then that his mother's doll held the wrong values. She should care more about more than going to the beach. She should care about poverty and suffering in the world. I wish she would work in a soup kitchen, but then she would never sell. So it doesn't seem like their kids were super pro Barbie, but that is where they got their namesakes. What were the color of the first Barbie's eyes? Blue, white, green, or brown?
We'll go green.
They were actually white, so they just had white irises at the beginning, and then they were changed to blue in 1960. All right, I have just a list of some facts, and I'm gonna try and make them into some trivia questions. So, where is Barbie originally from?
California?
Well, I was gonna give you some multiple choice questions, but it is not California.
Oh.
Would you guess she's from Minnesota, Wisconsin, or New York?
Wisconsin.
She's from the fictional town of Willows, Wisconsin, where she attended high school.
Interesting.
They made Barbie to be like a 17-year-old girl, and that might be one of the most outlandish things to me, honestly. I think as she got older, maybe they aged her up, but do you know what outfit Barbie was originally, what was Barbie's first outfit?
I think I know this. I think it's like a zebra print swimsuit.
Yeah, it's the black and white striped swimsuit, and interestingly enough, Barbie was first put out as a blonde and a brunette. There were two different versions, but the consumers bought the blondes most frequently, and so brunette Barbie kind of got thrown out, which is unfortunate for young Taylor, but that's okay. Do you know how tall Barbie is? Would you guess 9 inches, 10 inches, or 11.5 inches?
10 inches.
She's 11.5 inches, just a half an inch short of a foot. Interestingly enough, the best-selling Barbie doll ever was the Totally Hair Barbie, which featured floor-length hair, and apparently it came with hair brushes and gel and things that you could very much style her long hair, and it was probably a lot easier than just her normal shoulder-length hair to be able to style. Oh, something else that I thought was really interesting that I read about was where the idea from Barbie came from. Let me find that in here too. First off, this is the original drawing for the original Barbie doll, which how cool is that that just exists. And then here's the original Barbie in her zebra striped swimsuit with her curly bangs up here. Okay, here's the quote from the People magazine talking about the original idea for a Barbie doll. Actually, I need to start a little bit earlier so you get the context. So, the daughter of Polish immigrants, Ruth, who previously worked as a movie studio secretary, hit up the novel idea that girls would want to be a grown-up doll rather than mother a grown-up doll. You must remember, Barbie was the first fashion doll for children in the form of an adult. Ruth was able to sell Barbie in a toy industry that was hesitant to think of a doll that a girl could use to project her hopes and inspiration onto. And then it goes a little bit further to explain how the people at the toy company told her that just wasn't gonna work. And then eventually it says on a 1956 trip to Switzerland, she and Barbara, her daughter, spotted a figure, a tiny plastic, fully mature woman in the window of a Lucerne toy shop. Here were the breasts, the small waist, the long tapered legs I had enthusiastically described for the designers all those years ago, recalled Ruth. The Lily doll was based on a buxom gold digging character in a comic strip from Bild Zeitung, a German tabloid. The Bild Lily doll was sold in tobacco shops to men for purposes that have perhaps been lost to history. A dashboard mascot, a gag gift. Lily made her way into toy stores, but anyone familiar with the persona would not be inclined to buy her for a child. Ruth, though, saw her dream come to life. She bought a Lily doll home and put Jack Ryan, Mattel's new VP of Research and Development, on the project of adapting the men's doll for American girls. So, and this is the original Lily doll over here. Just, and she does look quite a bit like the original Barbie doll. Which I thought was really interesting. All right, more trivia. In the early 1960s, Barbie took on the style and sophistication of the decade's most famous trendsetter, Jackie Kennedy. What was her haircut called? A, bubble cut, B, bob cut, or C, page boy cut?
It's bob, isn't it?
It's actually a bubble cut. So it's that like bubble surrounding her face. It came out in 1961 in several different hair colors. Who was the first black doll in the Barbie family of dolls? Was it A, Francie, B, Stacy, or C, Christy?
I have no idea. Christy?
So this is actually a little bit controversial. So the technical first black doll was A, Francie. She came out in 1967 as Barbie's mod cousin from Britain. And she was sold as, I mean, she's a very light-skinned Barbie doll still. Like, she did not fit the full bill for a black Barbie doll, even though she had a slightly darker complexion. And she was actually half an inch shorter than the regular Barbie doll, and so it didn't allow them to share clothes. It didn't actually portray them as equals. And then all of her, like, face characteristics, just she still looked like a white girl with a slightly darker complexion. And so then in 1968, the actual first black Barbie doll, Christy, came out, and she was the same size as Barbie. They could look eye to eye, they could share all of their clothes, and she actually had black characteristics that allowed for her to be like the first official black Barbie doll. Who was the first celebrity to become a doll in the Barbie family? A, Marilyn Monroe, B, Twiggy, or C, Cher?
It's gotta be Marilyn Monroe, right?
It was Twiggy, actually,
Wow.
in 1967, and she earned over $1 million in royalties off of her Barbie doll. Who came first, Midge or Skipper? First, do you know who Midge and Skipper are?
I know who Skipper is. I don't know who Midge is.
Midge was Barbie's best friend, actually.
It's gotta be Midge.
Yep, Midge came first. She came in 1963 as Barbie's best friend, and then Skipper came the next year in 1964 as Barbie's little sister. In 1977, Barbie was given a new face with long blonde hair and a big smile. What is this face design that was used for over 20 years called? Angel, Superstar, or Beauty Queen?
Beauty Queen?
Superstar. It was first used on the Superstar Barbie.
Interesting.
All right. Why was the teacher Barbie doll recalled by Mattel in 1995? A, her outfit was too sexy for a teacher. B, the lenses on her glasses were dangerous if they were broken. Or C, she wasn't wearing panties.
I'm trying to think of what people would be mad at. Probably A.
Actually, it's C. She wasn't wearing panties. I don't know why.
That's very funny. That checks out too.
Yeah. When did Mattel start making collectible Barbies? In 1986, 1980, or 1974?
1980 sounds right.
1986 was actually the first one, but this is also a little bit controversial. So this counted as the first actual collectible Barbie, but it was a porcelain doll, and it was actually the Blue Rhapsody doll is what they call it. But the 1988 Happy Holidays Barbie was the first non-porcelain collectible doll that we actually see today. I think they said by, once this one went, the 1988 holiday one went on the market, and there was such a great, demand for it, that is when they realized that there were adult collectors buying these Barbie dolls and that there was a big market for collectible Barbie dolls. What was the name of Barbie's 1986 rock band? A, The Rockers, B, Barbie's All-Star Rockers, or C, Blue Rhapsody?
The Rockers?
It was just The Rockers.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
The popular Dolls of the World series was produced from 1980 to 2000. Which was the first one issued? A, the French Barbie, B, the Italian Barbie, or C, the Swiss Barbie?
I'm gonna go the Italian Barbie.
It was the Italian Barbie. Who is responsible for doing the first designer Barbie collaboration? Was it A, Giorgio Armani, B, Oscar de la Renta, or C, Bob Mackie?
We'll go De La Renta.
It was De La Renta. In 1985, Oscar de la Renta was the first designer to collab with Barbie. The 1998 limited edition Sunflower Barbie was inspired by the work of what artist? Can you guess by just hearing Sunflower edition?
Is it Monet?
Mm-mm. That is an answer on here though, but it was actually Van Gogh.
Oh,
remember Van Gogh's
He did the
Sunflowers?
sunflowers?
Yeah. All right, we've got some career trivia here for you. So Barbie has had over 250 inspirational careers,
wow,
including astronaut, pilot, firefighter, journalist, entrepreneur, just to name a few. Which career has Barbie not had? A, chicken farmer, B, rapper, C, NASCAR racer, or D, car salesperson?
I'm going car salesperson.
It was car salesperson. Yeah. And the picture of her as a rapper is literally so cute. That's what I thought when I first saw this, because I felt like that was almost like too forward, but you know, Barbie can do anything. Interestingly enough, Barbie traveled to space in 1965, 4 years before man walked on the moon. And Sally Ride was the first female in space, and she didn't go to space until 1983. So Barbie's breaking the ceiling pretty early on. What year do you think was the first year that Barbie ran for president?
1990. We'll go 2.
It was 1992. Wow. And she looks remarkably like Hillary Clinton. Even though that was kind of Bill Clinton's year, 1992, she looks like Hillary Clinton. And interestingly enough, in 2016, she was the first time that she ran with an all-female ticket. So, she's run in nearly every election since. Which celebrity has not had a Barbie made after them? Zendaya, Nicki Minaj, J-Lo, or Olivia Rodrigo?
Olivia Rodrigo?
Yeah, I think she's too new.
Yeah. I was surprised Zendaya.
Me too.
When you said Zendaya and Olivia Rodrigo.
And Zendaya's looks a lot like her. It's kind of wild, yeah. What artist was commissioned in 1986 to paint a portrait of Barbie? A, Francis Bacon, B, Thomas Kincaid, or C, Andy Warhol?
Andy Warhol.
Yeah, and I'd like to see that. I haven't seen that one yet, but I bet it's cool.
I think I've seen it.
Maybe I haven't, I just don't remember. Why was the 1999 Generational Girl series controversial? Is it because one doll had a nose ring and the other one had an ankle tattoo? Was it because the series included an unmarried pregnant Barbie, or both?
I'm going with both.
Nah, it was just the nose ring and the tattoo.
Dang.
Barbie is, I don't think Barbie promotes unmarried pregnancies quite yet in history. Alright, what country condemned Barbie, which was already banned in this country, with the statement, Jewish Barbie dolls with their revealing clothes and shameful postures, accessories, and tools are a symbol of decadence to the perverted West. Let us beware of her dangers and be careful. Was it A, Pakistan, B, Saudi Arabia, or C, Kuwait?
It's gotta be Saudi Arabia.
It was. Alright, we've got some bonus questions here. These are for the real collectors. So in the 1950s, every proper lady would have had one of these in her purse. What was it?
I don't know.
Take your best guess.
Every proper lady had
had this in her purse in the 1950s.
A mirror?
No, it was actually a white hanky. Barbie is seen with a white hanky in only 3 editions. The Evening Splendor, which ran from 1959 to 64. The Golden Elegance, which was out in 1963. And Roman Holiday, which was only in 1959. What was the difference between the number 1 Barbie and the number 2 Barbie?
The eye color?
No, remember that happened?
They didn't do that for a few years.
Number 1 and number 2 also came pretty close, like back to back.
So just the outfit?
Okay, so that does kind of count. I think I read that originally she had like 29 different outfits, and then with the number 2 Barbie, she came out with like 6 more outfits or something like that. But the answer that we're looking for is that the number 1 Barbie had holes in her feet to allow her to like stand up on the stand.
Yeah.
But then number 2 Barbie had solid feet and just had a wire stand to help her stand up. Why is a tiny brass compact considered a holy grail to vintage Barbie collectors?
I couldn't tell you at all.
There was a little bit of a clue in one of the previous Barbie trivia question, or one of the previous bonus questions.
That still doesn't help me. One of the bonus questions.
Yeah, we talked about it just a little bit, but why would a brass compact be a holy grail item?
I have no idea.
So it was only included with the Roman holiday Barbie, which only came out in 1959. And so it's a very hard item to get a hold of, but it is the cutest little thing. It's just like a small little brass compact. It's got the original like Barbie bee on the front with a mirror inside. Honestly, how do I get like a life-size version of that? That should have been on the promotional tour. Somebody should have done that. All right, we've got a couple more interesting facts here, and then we'll be done with the trivia section. So a Barbie dream house is sold every how often? How many minutes would you say?
Every 3 minutes.
Every 2 minutes. You're pretty close. Do you know when it was first introduced? What year?
1982?
62, actually.
Oh, wow, way
very early.
Huh.
It went Barbie, Ken, dream house right away. Interestingly enough, though, 1962 was more than a decade before women could mortgage their own house without a male cosign.
Wild.
So Barbie again, breaking those ceilings. More than how many dolls are sold every minute, would you say?
Every minute? 1,000? More than 1,000?
They say just 100.
Okay.
Do you know how many countries worldwide Barbie is sold in?
150?
It is 150. Good job. Interestingly enough, the Barbie brand has over 99% brand awareness globally.
Wow.
So outside of like maybe Coca-Cola, I feel like Barbie is like the it thing. All right, and then some interesting things about Barbie's online presence. Barbie Style launched in 2014 and quickly reached over 2 million followers. It is one of the fastest growing fashion Instagram channels to date. Barbie has released over 40 Barbie movies in general, and that does not include the animated series and the TV specials.
Wow.
Needless to say, we will not be watching all 40 this week, but I think we will be lucky to make it to 4. Barbie has more than 151 million minutes of content watched on the Barbie YouTube channel.
Wow.
In 2015, Barbie launched her first vlog on YouTube, which propelled the channel to the #1 doll brand on YouTube. Maybe I could be like Barbie one day.
You can be the #1 doll brand on YouTube.
And then there are over 18 billion minutes of Barbie user-generated content created each year.
That you are contributing to.
Add this to that.
Yeah.
Thank you for this section. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how many of those you knew and what you were most surprised to learn about in this section.